This episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing episode 3 of The Santa Clauses, titled Into the Wobbly Woods. Now, this is an interesting episode because in this episode, it's basically Santa Claus, Scott Calvin, looking for his replacement and interviewing candidates for this job. The first candidate that he interviews is Peyton Manning. Yes, the Peyton Manning. It's actually a fun interaction between Peyton Manning and Scott Calvin. Scott Calvin throws some jokes at him. Peyton Manning does his thing. And the whole aspect of the funny joke about how big Peyton Manning's head is and everything, it was good. It was different and very, very well done. Not only that, we have Simon Chosky, who is played by Cal Penn, and the kind of Jeff Bezos in a way, like he has this big company and tries to make this whole delivery system. He is actually there to be interviewed as well for the next Santa Claus. And Simon's daughter, Grace, is also with him, and Cal, Santa Claus's son, shows Grace around. But Cal is just asking questions about, is this what it's like in the real world? This and that, what happens? Not only that, Sandra, Santa Claus's daughter, then starts showing Grace around, going to the reindeer area, things like that. And the whole aspect of what is Santa Claus doing? Does he want to retire? And how Mrs. Claus is just doing certain things. She puts her jeans on that she hasn't had on in a while. She has a Shania Twain shirt on, I believe. And it's just interesting how the aspect of how everything is going. Now, the reason it's called Into the Wobbly Wood is because Sandra takes Grace into the woods and they kind of go to the witches. There's a Christmas witch there. And it's really interesting because this character is played by Laura San Giacomo, and it's really fun. But the whole little aspect of what's going on is really, really good and different. But the character of Noel, Santa's right hand elf, and Betty the elf's husband is really annoying at times. I want to say it just doesn't fit the mold of what it is. Some jokes are a hit, some jokes are right over your head and such a miss. There are interesting aspects of funny moments and interesting aspects of how characters really perceive themselves as, believing in what they want to believe, especially with Simon's daughter, Grace. Simon's daughter, Grace, is probably the thing that's driving this show a little bit because she knows of what's happening. And then in the end, we find out that Simon does take the job of becoming Santa, while Scott Calvin goes back to a normal life by being Scott Calvin with his wife and now his two kids. It's really interesting how everything just quickly just turns around. The episode is really, really short. It's 31 minutes long. It's a quick watch. This entire season is a quick watch. Now, there is a total, I believe, of 6 episodes this season. So I'm very curious to see what happens. Now, it's been rumored that David Krumholtz comes back as Bernard. I'm very curious to see how his character comes in, what role he plays, and does Scott Calvin actually come back as Santa and take that mantle up? Because I'm pretty sure Simon Chesky is not the definitive Santa. Cal Penn does give a great performance as Simon, but I feel like it's one note and it's just it's just the character doesn't understand certain things a little bit. But I feel like when that character starts get going, it's going to be interesting, especially seeing how the few episodes of Simon as Santa Claus will go. Like I said, Bernard, is he going to come back? Does he bring back Scott as Santa after things are happening? When the end of these episodes, the lights in the North Pole start flickering a little bit with that one big snow globe having that little black dot in the middle, doing certain things. It's really, really interesting. I like the show, but I feel like it needs to pick up just a little bit. I'm curious to see how it ends and if this will lead into a fourth movie or if this is it and it closes out everything and we get final closure on the characters. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 3 of The Santa Clauses, titled Into the Wobbly Wood. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the aspect of Simon being the new Santa Claus and taking up that mantle? How do you think Scott Calvin is going to return in this role? And do you see him returning in this role? Or do you think at the end they actually pick a successor to this Santa Claus? If so, who do you think that will be? What do you think about Peyton Manning making a cameo appearance in this? Did you like the jokes that were used? And who is your least favorite character on this show so far? And what do you think of this show? Let me know in the comment section below. But all the questions I just asked. And I'll see you all in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week for my episode 4 review of The Santa Clauses.